Let's talk about fooling around with numbers and coming up with a way to work the casinos over for this weekend's Dimitry Pirog versus Danny Jacobs fight. Jacobs is the favorite. The fight is here in the United States. I believe, though, that the underdog, and I have a video of the underdog, Dimitry Pirog, takes this fight. He's a plus 160. However, Pirog, of course, counterpuncher, superior defense, kind of like Floyd Mayweather, just like Mayweather, starts slow, right? Takes him a little bit to figure out the angles so that his defensive dominance starts to take over. As a general rule, fighters with the vastly superior defense tend to do better the longer the fight goes, right? And so you want to ensure yourself against the possibility of Danny Jacobs coming out and blowing out Dimitry Pirog, right? Because if this fight goes to the fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th rounds, I believe Pirog starts to dominate. I believe Pirog here can win a comfortable decision. However, there's always that risk in a fight between two guys who knock out more than 80% of their opponents. There's always that risk that the younger guy, the young lion, with the faster hand speed and the bigger punch, comes in, gets lucky early while the other guy's adjusting, and actually is able to end the fight. Believe it or not, incredibly, the casinos have left the door open for gamblers like us. The under on this fight is a very high 9.5 rounds, which is shocking for a fight between two guys with a greater than 80% knockout ratio each. Not only that, believe it or not, they're paying a plus 160 on the under in this fight, which is very shocking. That actually creates an opportunity where you can hedge the play. In other words, my base bet, the bet I like, is Dimitri Pirog just to win. You don't have to fool around with him winning by decision or by knockout because you're getting a healthy plus 160. Bet $10 to win 16 bucks. The hedge I like is the under 9.5 rounds at plus 160, where you can literally bet $7, not 10, but $7 on the other side of the bet. And let's say if either guy wins the fight by knockout before the halfway point of the 10th round, you clean up. Let's do the math. If Pirog knocks out Danny Jacobs in the first 9.5 rounds, you actually win on the Pirog side $10 times 1.6, you win 16 bucks. You also win on the under. You win both bets. So you would win, let's say the under you've insured with $7. You would win 7 times 1.6. You would win $11.20. So you would clean up with a net bounty of 16 plus $11.20. You would clean up with $27.20 off of your initial outlay of $20, right? Excuse me, of $17. 10 on Pirog to win and 7 on the under. Now let's say Danny Jacobs comes out. He's the young lion, right? Even though I think he doesn't have the better defense or the technique, I know he has the bigger punch. Let's say Jacobs comes out and does a Mike Tyson, destroys Pirog. Pirog is adjusting to the United States. The cameras are on him. The lights are too bright for him. He gets knocked out early. You know what happens? Believe it or not, you get your money back and you get a mild profit, right? Because while you lose the $10 you bet on Pirog just to win the fight, you actually win 7 times 1.6. You win $11.20 back minus the $10. You actually net $1.20 on your hedge. In other words, you can literally, insure yourself even where the other fighter wins, right? Let's say Pirog doesn't knock out Jacobs. Let's say Pirog actually wins the fight by decision. Um, you know what, or wins the fight after the halfway point of the 10th round. Believe it or not, you win there. Because since you had Pirog to win, you win 10 times 1.6, you win 16 bucks minus the $7 you bet on the under. So you would actually win 16 minus 7, you would win $9. Now understand where you're naked, right? Understand it's an imperfect hedge because, of course, if Danny Jacobs wins the fight in the last 2.5 rounds, right, after the midway point of the 10th round, or by decision, then you lose both ends of the bet. You lose the 10 you bet on Pirog, you lose the 7 you bet on the under. My point to you, the point I'm making in this video, is Danny Jacobs has never gone 12 rounds. Danny Jacobs has never fought anyone as good as Dimitry Pirog. If you go back and look at his fight against Ishii Smith, you're going to find out that he only won that fight by 3 rounds on 2 of the judges' cards, and that was after Smith got a point deducted. Danny Jacobs' style isn't the most judge friendly. He's a bomber. 17 KOs in 20 fights. Either he comes and takes you out, or like Mike Tyson, he starts to look awfully average in the latter part of the fight. That's a risk I believe is worth taking on this straddle. So I like, just to sum up, I like Dimitry Pirog to win the fight. He is the underdog. I like Dimitry Pirog to win the fight as your base bet. Your head should be 9.5 rounds at plus 160. Just understand, if you understand the way hedges work, just make sure that the amount that you stand to win on your hedge is equal to or greater than the amount you're betting on Dimitry Pirog to win the fight. Okay? Visit me at gamblersadvisory.com. Leave your comments for me here after the fight. It's not it's not every day I make multiple videos on a fight where I'm picking the underdog, but that's what I'm doing here. And of course, I discuss different gambling strategies and stuff like that in my book. I'll leave a link at the bottom of this video. Thanks for watching.